Good afternoon. Thursday, August 17th, 2:30. This is a meeting of the Griggs County Commission. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll move on to roll call. Josh.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Rod.
Hold on.
Stephanie.
Here.
John's here, and we're waiting on Rod. You're going to be attending by phone.
Hello?
Hi, Rod. I got you on speaker.
Okay, thank you.
You're the only one left for the roll call. Rod Zorn.
Here.
Very good. Move on to the agenda, if you would. Have a look at that. Looks pretty straightforward.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. A motion by Edlin to approve the agenda. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Second by Tranby. Any further discussion on the agenda? Barring no further discussion, all in favor of the approval signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Agenda approved. If you'd have a look at the August 3rd meeting minutes, anything that looks out of order, punctuation, somebody that said something and didn't, vice versa.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented and dispense with the reading.
We have a motion by Edlin to approve the minutes as presented and dispense with the reading. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Second by Tranby. Any further discussion? Everybody had time to read the minutes, or do you want a little more time?
Yeah, I read it before.
Just kind of, everything looks pretty good.
Absent no further discussion, all in favor of approving the August 3rd meeting minutes signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. Have a look at the bills. Anything?
Just so you know, if you look up at the arrow mark, the general courthouse, if you look over at the balance, it's a negative 139,943. That is because we had some payments come out of the wrong account. If you look at the top of page 5, you see that there is some the same amounts and they're negative, whatever. Those are where they're getting corrected. So.
Coding error.
Yeah.
Easy fix.
Yep. So it just came out of the wrong account and we're getting that fixed up. So the general courthouse will be back positive after this.
Yeah, that happens.
But other than that, everything else looks, I didn't see anything else that. In here, there is the payment to that guy that we have a contract for doing the.
Sales tax ratio?
Yes. I'm trying to find that one.
Right here, discount sales tax ratio for 12,500.
Where is that?
Right there. Underneath where you were talking about.
Oh, yep.
That's the down payment, and then when it's done, we pay him the rest of it. That's
Correct.
the plan, right?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve the expenses.
A payment directly to Jeff Stackler. vehicle for $1,094.
Oh, definitely, thank you.
Is that going out to State Fair travel?
It happens. This is not over the budget, so
What vehicle is this with?
I don't know if that would be his personal one or if.
What is the state rate? 55 cents?
50, 60. No, it's
60.
about 60 and a half or something like that.
65. Yeah, so he's got that 65. Yeah, I think this would be his personal vehicle because I think he only uses the county vehicle for. I can't be. I'm not 100% on that, but
Was the rate 65 cents, you think?
65 or 65 and a half.
Yeah, that's what that is.
make sure for you here. Uh, 65 point. Yep, 65. Yep. I have a motion by Evan to approve this.
Yeah. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tranby. We'll do a roll call vote for approval to pay the bills as presented. Signify by saying aye in approval, nay and not, nay to the opposite. Averill.
Aye.
Cranby.
Aye.
Rod Zorn.
Aye.
Stephanie.
Aye.
Wakefield votes aye. Bills approved. So should we skip down and do the Finley Farmers elevator appraisal?
Bob's here. Yep.
All right. Bob, what do you have for us?
I got a couple things. You guys are cutting in and out really bad. Hear your audio. About every minute or so it's cutting out.
That's loud.
Is that, that's not good.
Is that better, Bob?
Yeah, I can hear you. We'll just go forward. I guess my first thing was, after I left the last meeting during budget hearings, at the end of the day, it looks like the money that was in the budget for the vehicle replacement was taken out. I'm not sure how that came about or what that was about or how that happened, but that seems pretty irresponsible for where we're at considering the vehicles we have and what we're doing here. That pickup I drive right now is like 12 and a half years old and needs a considerable amount of work to it. And I've been dragging that along pending the budget cycle and that. So I just like to know, is there a plan to remedy that? I understand that was maybe a snafu or something with that budget item being taken out. I just want to know where the commission sits on that. And if you can hear me, I cannot hear you.
Yep, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, you're back now.
Okay.
So I guess all I can relate is it was a subject brought up. It was debated and voted on. I believe the motion was by Tranby for the actions that took place. It was, I don't know who the second was, and it was unanimous, I believe, when it was voted on.
I didn't vote. Nope, I didn't vote on that.
4-1, excuse me.
Yeah, when was my mistake, and I didn't realize we're taking it out. I thought we were taking for the 24 budget, you know, we're trying to get back to that $25,000, you know. And I didn't realize by doing that we took all that out and just went back to 25,000, you know. You follow what I'm saying? Didn't realize it was my mistake.
Can you read the motion to us?
Yeah, cut it back.
From what I understand is we just moved it to a different department now, and we're putting that money in for next year, aren't we?
Correct.
And then next year we're putting the money in, and then the year after we will be voting for the vehicle, I believe. Unless
That's the way I understood the
Okay, so
motion.
explain. Okay, so someone there needs to explain to me how we're going to run this pickup 2 more years. This pickup should have been replaced probably 2 years ago. And we talked at great length about this in the meeting that everybody in that room needs to know that pickup needs replaced. So now we're just going to push this off 2 years.
No, it's gonna.
That's just absolutely that's irresponsible. There's no other way to say it. It's irresponsible by the whole crew.
Yeah,
We just pushed it off an extra year, so next year you can look for a new vehicle. Is what we did.
but our dilemma right
Well,
now.
that's all fine, Josh, but I can't buy that vehicle till the following year.
Until 2025.
When you budget money at the county
Yeah.
level, you can budget all you want next year, but I cannot spend that money till January 1st of 25. This is one of those get real moments right here.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand what's going on right now with this budget at the county level. I mean, these aren't, the budget shouldn't be used as some kind of a weapon or a get you, we got you on this one. This is a legitimate expense that the sheriff's office needs a vehicle to do their job. The vehicle I've got right now, the engine's knocking, the driver's seat shot, 2 of the fender welds are rusting through, and it needs suspension probably replaced. I don't get it. The other vehicle we got sitting out back there, that's a 2006. That's completely done. I had looked at it, they said it's not even worth putting money into. So, and now we're looking at adding another person, which was talked to openly that person's gonna, that staff member is going to need a vehicle, so now here we sit.
So we kind of set
How
our,
is this serving citizens? But just wait, how is this serving the citizens of Griggs County in any way positive or intelligently? It's not.
right.
I have not talked to one taxpayer that there's nothing about this is that it's okay. Now, me personally, I drive older vehicles, I don't care. But this is a service vehicle for emergency response. So tell me something valuable. I understand how the vote went down, but where do we go from here today?
So with this, are we gonna be in need of another vehicle with hiring on that
School resource
additional
officer.
person? And when does that additional person start?
Okay, so one thing at a time. Right now, I have two totally serviceable vehicles. I get the Durango. One's already approaching 5 years old. I have a pickup that's a 2012 that probably realistically from what I'm using it for is far past its serviceable livelihood. Now, for road department or a farmer or a backup vehicle for something else, it's probably got some life left in it. Now I've got two deputies, myself, and we're potentially looking at the school resource officer. Now I've got 4 people with basically 2.5 vehicles. So that's a grade school math to figure that out. I don't know what the thoughts are on this, how this is ever going to work out.
Is this something where we could
We can't share vehicles because
Is this something that we could use the reserve funds for, to buy the vehicle? For that would allow you to, if you order a vehicle now, you won't get it until how long? Or would you buy one? How would that work with a vehicle? I don't even know how this works.
what my plan was, the way these vehicles are built nowadays, and if we were going to replace that pickup with an SUV or another pickup, we could buy something off the lot that's going to function absolutely perfectly. And I'm not even opposed to buying something a couple years old. That's the world I come from.
Yeah.
Now, most sheriffs would say, I'm nuts for even saying that.
Is this something where you could shop for a vehicle and present a vehicle and a price, and then we could look at reserve funds to use?
Well, as far as using reserve funds, that's not my call. I mean, I'll shop for a vehicle, I'll bring numbers, but I'm not going to waste my time. I've been down this road many times. And if this is going to be a dog and pony show, count me out. I'm not going to do it.
Do you?
I want a commitment by the commission that we're going to look at this seriously as a business matter, not as a let's show the sheriff's office or let's show them or let's get this or let's do that. This is ridiculous. The citizens of Griggs County will not be okay with this.
I agree. Do you trade in the vehicle? What do we do with the old vehicle?
All vehicles have to be put up for
Well-
for bids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's usually when we're done with them, their value for anything legitimate is
Done.
pretty minimal because we kind of destroy the interiors and the exteriors with drilling holes and stickers and
The
or
other
decals, not stickers, I guess.
the other
Then it's-
vehicles
but-
have just gone down to the road department
That's
okay.
true. That's what we done with them. That's true.
Oh,
because the bids come back and they're
And-
like nothing, so we just let the
road department have it.
Being
Okay.
we're on that subject,
and that's the last
Being
pickup
on that
was the
subject,
one
it was
that
out.
Jeff uses.
Okay.
being around that subject, one thing I was going to bring up today too is the commission opposed to getting rid of that Ford Explorer. It's basically a parking lot art. It's going to serve no purpose for my office. It was taken offline for a purpose. It's not usable for my office anymore.
No, I know that.
Which one?
The Ford Explorer back there, that's pretty much toast. The Ford Explorer back here sitting there, the silver one, it's basically end of its life. You know, I knew that before.
We were going to try and use it this fall just to get something else going when we had some vehicle issues, and the heater doesn't work in it. The air conditioning doesn't work in it.
Yeah.
It's got multiple mechanical problems. It'd be senseless for the county to put a dime into that.
back to your pickup, Bob, your 2012, correct, pickup is, correct? Bob, still there?
Yeah, my pickup's 2012.
How much, so you're,
Can you hear me?
yeah, if we have to fix it up, how much we talking, so we got an idea, you know,
Why would you want to
My
pick
pickup?
12
Yeah.
vehicle?
5,000-6,000?
New
Okay.
motor probably about 10 if it's got a
Hey,
motor
are you-
in it.
I'm just doing a cost comparison here, that's all I'm doing, Bob, just so we, you know. I mean, you're basically saying
Okay.
it's probably not worth
Right
it,
now,
yeah,
I just replaced the suspension on a vehicle and it cost me $2,500.
okay,
So I know I haven't gone down that road to get a complete diagnosis, but I know the suspension back when you're driving down the highway, the radio and stuff in the vehicle shakes so bad, it rattles continuously. And the wheels have been aligned, they've been balanced, so that's not the problem. It's just, you know, and I'm not saying that pickup junk, it's just served its life.
no, I understand that, Bob,
I mean, at some point they're just done.
yeah.
So far as fixing it, I can get you a quote on that for the next meeting.
No, I'm just saying it's probably not worth fixing what we're saying here, correct? Or not much,
Well,
put any more
When
money
this
into
school
it,
resource officer,
or not?
right, when the school resource officer thing came up, I knew right then there we were gonna have ourselves a problem even with buying a vehicle. So my intentions were when we had money in the budget, when we were doing at the meeting that day, I thought, well, I'll nurse this pickup along for another year if needed, get the sheriff, but we can get a decent vehicle, so we got 3 dependable vehicles at sheriff's office.
Correct,
Now, we're not in that position, so
2,
either way, I have no choice now. I have to fix the pickup. I have to fix it.
How many miles on it, Bob?
It's like 160.
yeah,
And you know, this is gonna sound silly maybe to you, but those are sheriff's office miles. They're not Bob Hook, Scott Tramby, you know, John Wakefield, Steph's miles. Those are sheriff's office miles. They're a lot different.
they're harder
There's a
miles.
lot of run time. There's a lot of,
Yeah,
they're just harder and
harder miles.
not non-relenting.
And the pickup never shuts off, you have to keep it running, right, everything running. Pretty
Well, mine I don't.
much. Okay,
Mine I don't. The cars do because
Yes.
of all the stuff in them.
yeah, that's correct.
So what my intentions were, if we got a bona fide law enforcement vehicle, which was the intentions until I left that day. At the end of the day, I gotta say I was kind of taken by surprise by that. Which whatever. For that school resource officer, I thought to get by, I would look for a off the lot vehicle that would be used strictly for that position, and then, you know, to respond inside of Cooperstown or relatively close to Cooperstown during the day, as agreed to upon with the school, that the officer working as an SRO there during those day shifts could leave the school and respond to emergencies. That was my idea then. Now I don't know what my idea is. All I know is I got to get appointments to get some stuff done to that truck. I didn't want to do that until the budget was over, so I knew what direction we were going, so I didn't want to waste money that we didn't need to.
Yeah,
So I just need some. So one question first: should I try and get rid of the Explorer? Advertise it?
yes.
I'd like it
Do we need a
gone.
motion?
Your motion on that? Your motion?
We need to put it out on bids.
Or bid? I
Yep,
mean, I
motion
make
to allow
motion
it to put on bids.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll work up a bid thing to put in the
Okay.
paper, and whoever does that can do it.
You make it more.
You can, well,
So, Jamie, how does it exactly go? 2 weeks, 3 weeks in
2
the paper?
weeks. 2 weeks competitive bid process. So it has to be advertised in the county paper.
I can go back and find the ad that we put in for the other pickup.
okay.
I'll make a
And
motion.
I know some of the departments around me, some of the departments around me, they've also put it on their department's Facebook once it's been in the paper, just for more exposure.
Okay.
We would do that too.
Facebook Bizman, all places I would recommend to do it.
So, we're looking for a motion
Yep.
to advertise the Ford Explorer,
2006.
2006 Ford Explorer. Do I have a motion to that effect?
I'll motion that.
Motion by Edlin, second.
I'll second it.
Second by Avery. All in favor of advertising and selling the 2006 Ford Explorer, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
same sign. Go ahead, Bob.
I
Okay, I've got the equipment to take the decals off it, so I'll just do that on my own, so we can milk it out.
Okay, what about the other vehicle? I know we don't like chopping into that reserve fund, it's not meant to be used for just everything, but I think this is a situation where it's necessary to use. It's going to a worthy place to help the sheriff's
So-
department.
So we have, as of January 1st, we'll have 35,000 in that budget, right, in that line item? As of January 1st coming up.
Correct.
You know,
But that would be nice to be able to keep that there for the next vehicle 2 years later. And then because
That was,
his,
yeah, I know, that was my, yeah. keep going.
you know, so get one now and then leave that money there and to wait for it to allow him to use order in 2024,
Oh, I
2025.
see
You know,
what you're going-
what the
oh.
initial thought was for a second vehicle was,
Because I think our second vehicle, we were gonna do a January 1st, 2025.
Correct. Yeah, then
Yeah.
we have another 25, then we have 50,000, or 56,000 in the account.
That's when we would have taken delivery.
right.
Yeah.
So,
A year and a half from now, or a year and
Yeah.
5 months from now.
So the only other option would be either take from that or take half of the vehicle from general fund and then take that 35 and then push it off for another 2 years on top of that for another vehicle. You understand what I'm saying?
use some now from the reserve, but then,
Instead of robbing from the whole general reserve,
yeah,
take the 35,000 that we have put aside,
yep,
take the rest of it from the general fund, and then use that to buy a vehicle. And then 2 years after, so in 2020, instead of buying one in 2025, we'll buy one in 2026.
2025 puts them away, 2026 give him another
Yeah.
one. What do you, how does that sound, Bob? Did you hear all that?
Well, it's probably doable, but we still have a pickup by then we're gonna have a 16-year-old pickup that
True.
we're trying to milk.
So,
So, you know, we've been around this, since I've been in law enforcement in Griggs County, this has been an ongoing, ever since day one. Departments around us, they're all on a schedule, they don't deviate from it. It's just like, it's a no-brainer once you're on a schedule.
Okay,
So I wish we could get on a schedule here for the future of the office.
Well, and I think that's,
Because Brian's car, the one he's driving, that 20 Durango, that's gonna, you know, by the time we get that money, that thing's gonna be pushing on 7, 8 years old. It's gonna have excess of 100,000 miles on. So here we go again.
well, and that's why we increased.
You know, I'm willing to.
That's why we increased the funding for that, so we could do it every 2 years instead of, you know, so much further apart.
yeah,
Right, but if we take that $35,000 and eat that up, now we're pushing that down the road another year.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our dilemma now is how to figure this out, something in the short term to figure this out.
Well, you said you can maybe find something on the lot that's a little used and not too bad, or is that going to put us in the same situation?
Well, I'll give you an example. I bought 5 Chevy Silverado pickups this year, and I paid $43,000 a piece for them. And they're the new Chevys with the turbo 4-cylinders in them.
Okay.
Absolutely unbelievable pickups. They're right now that pickup's going for $48,000, and it'd be the same truck as I'm driving. It's got a 4-cylinder that has more horsepower than mine.
so how do we,
Yeah.
we wouldn't make a motion to use it because we don't have,
We can't make a motion until we have the number in front of us.
right,
So Bob would have to go out and get bids and see what it's going to cost for us to even make a motion on that. Or am I wrong about that, John?
I mean, I don't, the dilemma, of course, is this was brought up, debated during the budget, voted on. And I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just saying the process
yeah.
played itself out. And then all of a sudden the process wasn't correct. It's really a stretch to use reserve funds for something that we publicly debated. That's the problem. How do you say, well, I mean, maybe there's a way to do it. I mean, maybe there's other funds somewhere. I would like to investigate what the prairie dog funds are, if they're available for it.
You can't, you have to
we-
use it for roads
Roads.
and bridges.
Prairie dogs are highway use, it's road improvement or structural improvement on roads, that's pretty much what prairie dog is from.
We can do roads for days.
Yeah, a lot of money for that.
And yeah,
Okay, can I
so I
suggest
see, I mean, I see the dilemma, but, and certainly the public, most of them will probably be in favor of what you're trying to do, but there'll be a certain percentage that say, well, why did you guys talk about this? Why did you do it? And then a week later, you change their
Yeah.
mind, and you see the dilemma to this thing. It's a no-win either way. Although I that's all I have to say about it. It was debated, and evidently it wasn't debated correctly.
From my standpoint, to move off center on this, I will compile some numbers, get it to you guys, and then we'll go from there. That will include what it's gonna cost to fix the Dodge up. I'll get that information to you, and then you can debate it till your ears bleed if you want.
No, this that way up, how much it costs you to get your fix your picks up versus buying something else, you know.
Right,
Cost comparison.
right. Well, there'll be a relatively huge difference there, Scott, obviously.
Yeah, I know, I'm just, yeah,
You can paint your house or build a new one, it's kind of that deal.
yeah, I know.
So, okay, well, then, I'll get a bid ready to get to Sam for the vehicle. I'll track down some costs for our replacement vehicle. Then the last thing I had,
One
is
minute,
the SRO
Bob.
position.
1 minute, Bob, so we can make a point here so that
Yeah.
it'll kind of diffuse everything. This kind of brings up the need to not let this budget discussion go to the very end and run out of time. This is why, if this was done 2 weeks earlier, we could have come back before we voted on this final budget and fixed it. So we need to be more proactive as we're doing this, and we're here to make decisions, we're not here to drag things out. That's all I have to say about that. This was a prime example of why we were trying to push things forward. Okay, Bob.
Can I ask a question on that? Hey, can I ask a question on that budget comment right there? I talked to two of the neighboring sheriffs, and they said their budgets are not finished yet. They're still going to be making some adjustments there before the final budget date. There's a black and white date certain for the budget.
The budgets have to be submitted by August 10th. That's a drop dead date for the budgets.
For printing. But they're about to be rubbing it because two of our neighboring counties haven't finalized their budget yet.
No, that's.
Well, it's not a final, it's an estimate for the estimated tax statements. Then it'll be final in October. You can't increase at this point, you can only decrease by this point.
Yeah.
So yes,
Yeah,
it's not
okay.
final.
I just wanted to ask that question.
Yep.
And it's a little
Sounds good.
it's a little misleading. It says you can't increase the levy, but you can decrease it. It doesn't mean the total levy. It means the line items that compose the overall levy. That's why the budget is debated at the meeting, on the final budget meeting. The whole budget is looked at, not just the one number. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to have a budget. You could just say, okay, we're going to levy $1.4 million, and we'll split it up as we go along. So anyway, that's okay. Bob, you're
So
up.
last thing
You're
got-
still up.
Yeah,
Last thing I got is the school resource officer. The city of Cooperstown voted that unanimously in about 20 seconds. They voted on 30,000, and that's available to us immediately on a monthly invoice.
okay.
So I would like to advertise that position. Between the school's input and what the city's got, there's enough to probably cover that until the first of the year, until the county is going to do something. I don't know what the county's plan is, because that was never detailed out in the budget process to me.
Yeah, because, it doesn't, this budget doesn't start to, January 1st,
Right.
We budgeted, so right now we don't have the money right now for the school resource officer unless we use this, right, Bob? You follow me? We have the money. The school.
Let's use what?
The school is going to pay us monthly, whatever. How much? So So is the city.
The school and the
Correct.
city are gonna, we'll be looking at,
Yeah, you followed them.
we'll be looking at about 7,000 a month,
Yeah.
6,000 a month.
But
But
this was a 20,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
24.
we're 2024, see, we're at, this thing is budgeted for next, coming up after the first of the year, see.
right.
But we need somehow data going for this year in the present, see.
So
Well,
this,
that wasn't, we were debating the 2024
Correct.
budget.
right.
So the money went into the
Correct.
revenue in the 2024 budget.
That's right.
So is the
So we're-
city and the
You see what our-
school willing
yeah.
to, so the city and the school is willing to pay that person's salary until we can kick in January?
That would be the only way to do it.
That's what
They
Because-
are, they are going to,
But see, we're
Yeah.
still gonna be short,
So,
we're still gonna be
I'll get
short.
that total,
Any money paid
Well-
in 2023 is now gonna be short in the 2024 budget. Remember, we took the 45,000 and we put it on the revenue side in 2024 to offset expenses. The 30,000 would go on the 2024 revenue to offset expenses. If we spend that
Yeah,
in
yes.
2023, now it's not available, now we don't have the funding to follow through with
The 2020.
what we spent
is
in
that,
2024.
good point. But,
That's right.
but are they willing to pay that also in 2024 and then?
Oh, and to continue it for
And then-
18 months rather than 12.
Right. Are they willing to pay the 2024 wages and then cover the start wage? Because the 30,000, is that just for 2024, or is that for?
2024 and up to 2024,
Okay.
basically.
I think the way to ask the question
The-
is it
the
is it a
30,000
monthly payment in perpetuity?
Right.
Does it start now and keep going?
Right.
You're right, so yeah, that's,
Into
then we're fine. Then we get to 30,000 in 2024, we get to 45 and,
Yes.
but we get, up until that point, they pay a monthly fee.
Yep.
Well, so it's gonna be over and above what they, because they budget on a yearly basis too.
Right.
In our budget, in like school was June 1st, you know, or July is their budget cycle. Ours is January 1st, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
but I mean,
different
either way,
budgets.
they're off their budget cycle. This wasn't budgeted money
Correct.
they're using.
Yeah.
But, so that's a good question. That would work. Then it doesn't damage our 2024 revenue,
Yep.
but it gets the school resource officer here early
Mm-hmm.
if it will cash flow with that 7,000 a month.
We didn't put the 30,000 in
Okay.
the budget for 2024
Oh, we did not. That's nice.
because I didn't have
Didn't
it.
know that number.
Yeah, because I don't think it was voted on when we said the budget.
No.
No.
no, because they had their meeting that following Monday, and
Yeah.
they voted that in.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and the city of Cooperstown, their money will start when we invoice them. So,
An annual cost. So,
they voted on it. Yeah, there's an annual cost. The city, or the school, we were gonna invoice them once the program starts. Well, I can tell you the way it's going, if I have an SRO by October, I'll do cartwheels down Main Street.
right.
So what we
It's
need.
all but impossible to hire an officer right now.
Yeah, what we need, Bob, and we talked before, and I didn't realize that this was the time schedule, but of course, the county will need some kind of contract,
Yes.
and the city and the
Right.
school will, and that'll have to be
Yep.
reviewed by Jamie. But Stephanie came up with a good
Yep.
point. Is this in addition, whenever they start, is that in addition to the yearly commitment, correct?
I'm not sure what you said. Say it again.
School,
Okay, so-
the school's
so
gonna
if-
pay for,
If they start paying on the 45,000 now, after 12 months, are they gonna quit paying? Or are they gonna keep paying
To cover the rest of the year.
for the yearly, or are they just going to have a resource officer for the time school is in session?
Yes.
Well, the way I read it was that it's kind of a per day deal. You know, I mean, with every day there's there, that's how they'll be.
Well, I know, I read that too, but
But-
it can't be something that we are agreed to, till both sides agree to it, till we know what we're doing.
We need to have a contract
Yeah.
between
Correct.
the entities before
Yeah.
so we know what's going on.
Yeah, we need to have a sit
Right.
down, hash it out how it'll work, and then,
I mean,
because my question is, because he said the annual cost of $30,000 will be billed to the city monthly. Okay, so the annual cost, does that mean, do we have up to $30,000 in 2023 and 2024?
Or do we have the percentage of the 30,000 in 2023, whatever, how many months are left?
I
Right.
see, yeah.
And same with the school, because the school has 45,000, and is that for?
The school said that
I
at
mean, that
this
would make
point,
it doable.
GCC would prefer to spend out the total amount over a 10-month period, starting in August and ending in May, making monthly average payment to the county for the services for a school resource officer.
So it would be their fiscal year, it wouldn't be ours. Cause
Te-
it'd be from, their fiscal year is from July 1st to July
Correct.
1st.
Yeah.
So they're basing on their fiscal year when ours is what, January?
Right.
1st,
Yeah,
January
but
1st.
So what
anyway
we
you look
should have
at
done in our
it's gotta
budget.
get paid out in a 12-month period. No matter what, if it lessens the payment, it doesn't matter, it's still gotta get paid in a 12-month period, you can't go. this
It,
way.
But
And that's what I
well, it
meant.
doesn't matter if it
But-
comes in
but it-
10 months. They can pay us all in one lump sum, and we can just put it in that little, you know,
But kind of, I thought, the way I thought you were saying it is that then if they go again another year, then that payment again would start for the second school year. So then
so go August
it
to
would be
10 months,
probably a
and then,
45,000 because then it would come from then that other.
oh, we'll cover the rest of it for the year. Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's what I said, is it
I
in
thought that's what
perpetuity,
you
is it
were-
in perpetuity, or is it just a year at a time? If it's a year at a time and they quit, then it makes a difference when we start here. If it's in perpetuity and
Yeah.
the year just starts over again and away you go,
Right.
it would be easier.
So I can
It would be
absolutely
easier,
speak to
Bob,
that.
if they would make up the difference right now to the first of the year and then put it on a 12-year base, a 12-month basis. That would be easier
So
for both of them.
So right now, they're not gonna pay a penny to us until we have a school resource officer.
Correct.
There would be no
That-
reason for us to
that's
do
right.
that.
Right,
That's
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's why with the money that we're gonna start providing the city coverage immediately.
Okay.
I mean, we'll just do that.
Oh, excuse
So
me.
we're gonna have that 30,000 to draw on to cover the cost of this officer. And I said, I will never have anybody in this place. If I have them by the first year, it'll be a miracle. And I hate to say that, but that's the world I'm living in.
Yeah.
So I just need to get this advertised. So we have any hope of making this work.
So,
And then once we have that,
You can even,
once we get this nailed down, there'll definitely be contracts.
Well, that's
And
what
they'll
the
come to
first
you,
thing.
they'll come to
the
Jamie, reviewed.
right.
First thing we need is a contract in order, so we know what to advertise.
Yep.
So
Yep,
you
it's all
need
good
to
done.
get with Jamie, and we need and the city, and iron out what each entity's obligations and expectations are.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because it says it needs to be
Right.
noted that Griggs County Central starts school on August 16th. The offer was 45,000,
Yeah.
was approved under the premise
Guidelines.
that a school resource officer would be in the building for all 172 instructional school days at GCC.
I mean, all we had was a
Yep,
tentative, all we had was a tentative
Yep.
agreement to start talking. It wasn't finalized, and it can't be
That's
finalized till
right.
we have it in place.
yeah, we had, it's
And now we
basically,
can-
this has been actually
Correct.
sat down. Yeah,
Okay.
You're right. Yeah, you're correct.
Now it's time to fine tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Is that something that one of us needs to sit with the city, needs to sit with
Or should we
them?
bring it-
Or is
or-
that Bob gonna run and talk to everybody and say, here's the contract?
Or do we have
Or
a
just
member of
have
the
a-
city
just-
come
I think we
here?
draft the contract
First.
and then send it to everybody to take a look at.
You
Okay.
wanna draft the contract?
Well, he's gonna have to anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gotta be,
Well, I tell you,
there are contracts out there that cover
Okay.
this.
Well, yeah, it wasn't gonna start from,
It's
from
not, no,
scratch.
it's gonna be copy and
we've
paste.
had city contracts before.
Yeah, we have, but
Okay,
I mean, we've got city contracts in our files. There's other sheriff's offices have city contracts. I'll just get copies of those and we can, however we gotta do it on our own. I've talked to several of the agencies that have school resource officers. They've got examples of their contracts with the school. I'll get copies of all that, so you got something to start with.
You did present a potential city policing contract at the last meeting.
yeah. But I mean, probably at the.
Who did?
You did.
Yeah, well, it was a generic one.
Oh, no, that wasn't a contract. That was just,
That was laying out the
talking.
guidelines. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just because they need to vote on something right then and there for their purposes too.
Yeah.
So we got, and then the information that I gave them at their meeting was if you guys want to move forward, this is the number that we need. And they said yes. And I said, we'll come back with contracts and we'll sit down and get fine details worked out. I said the scheduling will be at Cooperstone's wishes, but at my discretion.
Yeah.
And they had no issue with that, so.
So more than likely what has to happen is the contract needs to get drawn up, it needs to be presented to us, to them.
Yes.
And then at a joint meeting signed or signed individually at 2 separate meetings, but everything needs to be out in the open here. We can't have each side thinking the other side is gonna do something that they aren't, or vice versa. We need to be all in agreement on this, and that shouldn't be hard to do.
No. So just to put that one comment for perspective, the school is getting 172 shifts.
Yep.
The city of Cooperstown is getting 119 shifts. That's where it's at. So that 119 shifts will be spread across the whole year, however we choose to.
Okay.
City and I, we work together.
Yeah.
Okay, I have nothing else. If that's where we're going, I'll gather information and get with Jamie.
Thanks, Bob.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye.
So,
Do you need a motion to have him go ahead, John?
no, he'll coordinate with, do the planning of it, he'll coordinate with Jamie.
Okay.
Until we have something to actually look at,
Let's see.
we don't have. Yeah. You're the representative of the sheriff's department, you can keep us appraised of what's going on. Okay. Anything else on any of that?
One question I have on the vehicle that's going to be sold. Where will the funds for that go? Will that be available to either fix his vehicle or go towards the purchase of a different one?
It typically goes to the general fund, because the sheriff's department is covered in the general fund.
Okay.
So that's where that will go.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be a big number.
No.
Might be more than we got for our bridge.
Okay.
We never did get that dollar, by the way.
No, they never took the bridge either.
No.
All right. Games of Chance permit.
You have Finley Farmers.
Oh.
Elevator approval.
Okay, I was gonna leave that one till the end.
Oh, sorry.
That's
No,
okay,
Games of
no,
Chance is fine.
Jamie's here, that's right. So Finley Farmers elevator approval. Jamie.
I learned through the tax director in Nelson County that typically it's the township that the
Yep.
place is situated in that pays for the appraisal.
And did you talk
I
to
did.
Cooperstone?
I talked to Mark, but he's off the board.
Oh,
But anyway, I did go ahead and Sam had gave me the number of that Crown
Yes.
appraisals,
mhm.
and I called him this morning actually, and she said depends on which type you want to do, on that. She did some for Steele County over there,
Mhm.
and there's like a restricted narrative one, which is just the basics. She said, and then that'd be about between 5,000 to 10,000. She said for
Mhm.
that one. So if they come in and appraise, and they're about 8 weeks out.
Mhm. So that information will have to get presented into Cooperstown Township. So that
Correct,
they can,
yeah.
so that they can follow through
Yeah.
with that. You can get that to them.
Yeah, I get that to them when they come that. So that's where we stand on at least that end of it. That's a neutral party, I guess they call it. Those guys are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody fine with
Yeah. Do we got to make a motion? or
trying to be
something like
moving
that?
forward with that? No,
No, we already did.
he can't make a decision. He's just gonna gather
Yeah.
information
Okay.
for him. Give him information, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Now we can go to the Games of Chance permit.
Same thing,
Quilt
different year.
auction. No?
Huh?
A quilt auction?
Yep, I think so.
I motion to accept the Games of Chance permit for Mabel Lutheran Church.
Motion by Edlin to approve the Games of Chance permit raffle for Mabel Lutheran Church. Is there a second to that motion?
Oh, we'll second that one.
Second by Tranby. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Chance away. Old courthouse, new courthouse. Historical Society hasn't changed their mind, and
Nope.
There is a grant that came through my email that said we can apply for $150,000 to help restore our building, which I'm pretty sure that won't even touch the front door. So
oh, maybe should we explore it?
We could look
Wouldn't
at
you-
having a grant writer take a look at it. The Association of Counties actually has a new grant writer. I don't know what they're gonna charge. I can find that out. We can find out what they're charged to do something like that, and if it's granted, they take a percentage of the grant. But
Yeah. I mean, restore, maintain, it's kind of a fine line, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they get us
Okay.
down the road a ways.
I will forward this to you. You?
okay, yeah.
Who, we got a grant writer? Who?
The Association of Counties.
Oh, the Association of
is
Counties.
contracting with A2S to
Yeah.
do research for grants because there's money available for the counties, so,
Okay.
something that we're looking at maybe hiring if it's utilized and it works out.
Okay. That sounds good. Excellent. Like I
If
said,
any of you guys want it, I can send it to Sam to send it to you guys.
you know, like I said, we're obligated to not let it destruct itself. So if we start restoring it, maybe that's probably moving
Yeah,
in the
if we
right
can get
direction.
grants, just keep it up. I'm 100% okay with that.
Or we check into it.
Or, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Future business.
One other thing on the old courthouse, new courthouse. This is something I think has been brought to, well, I know Steph knows on the new courthouse. It was brought to my attention that there's water dripping out of the rain gutter, and the gutter is directed to go across the sidewalk. And I guess all this was new to me, but there was a book that was Steph had put together to write down problems and stuff that were.
Yep.
And then it's supposed to, and then it's supposed to go to the maintenance, and anyway, I guess nothing's been happening with it, and the water comes down and freezes across that sidewalk, and they're worried about somebody slipping and falling. I've stopped by and looked at it, and the seam, there's a seam in the rain gutter where the water's sitting and then dripping out, and then the water, they didn't cut the sidewalk to go across with the gutter to go underneath. So the water comes off the gutter and onto the sidewalk. Pretty simple fix, really. You know, if you could get a seamless gutter, one piece gutter would stop the dripping. I think the water could be redirected on the gutter along the building to go along the rock, or we could have the concrete cut and take it out. But anyway, I don't know this it sounds like it hasn't been addressed, and you know, if somebody was to slip and fall on it, you know, we'd probably be liable. So I don't know if it's something that we need to have someone just come and put a new gutter up and a new downspout, drain it across, or I don't know.
Brian, last year when it was addressed, I'm sorry, John, interrupted you. When it was addressed last year, Brian moved the downspout, or the, what would you call it? The downspout to go across the sidewalk and to drain into the rocks, so that it wouldn't go. But I wasn't aware of the actual gutter itself.
And where the problem with the dripping is that I had the same problem in my house, and we tried caulking it and whatever, and the caulking actually stopped the water and made it worse because it wouldn't let it drain. So we just got a seamless gutter, put one full gutter on, and it took care of it, and pretty inexpensive. But I guess I don't know. There is definitely a seam there, and the seams are just seamed together with a rivet in the bottom, and they're kind of prone to leak. So I guess I don't. It was brought to my attention, and they were worried. They said it gets really icy, And the problem with throwing salt on it, obviously, it's hard on your concrete, makes your concrete pop and stuff. So I don't know what the protocol is to. Do we have to vote to fix this to get a new gutter put on it, or have Brian do it? I don't know.
I think there's money in the budget for that to be able to do building repairs still. But the book is still in the break room for Brian, and I think it's been going well
I haven't heard
for the
any-
repairs.
Yeah, I'm not
So-
saying that. Yeah, I'm not picking on the book part of it. It's just that they said that the water still dripped and still got everything icy yet after. So,
Yeah.
so anyway.
We did talk about before just cutting the cement and then putting one of the, like up front here, up front has all the cement cuts with the grates on top to
Right.
put the drain through there. We did
Right.
discuss that before, and I think we're going to first try the downspout because it was zero expense at that to have that go into the rocks because that was
Right.
the quickest, cheapest fix, easiest fix. But if it's still not working, I don't know.
And as far as going in the rocks, I don't think there's any problem with that. I think the problem now is just where it's seamed and it's dripping out the seam.
Oh,
So the seam's probably gotta be fixed. Brian could probably reseal that seam. Does it make
I could
gutter, like a gutter cut for that kind of.
I could visit with Brian to see about his thoughts on what he has to fix that or what it takes to fix it because the man's jack of all trades, but perhaps
Right.
gutters is not one of them, you know?
Well, yeah, don't hurt to just talk to him and see what he wants to do,
Right,
since he's the one who does all the repairs.
right.
Uh-huh.
I'll visit with Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rod.
Yep.
Okay, we didn't, anything else on old courthouse, new courthouse? All right, now on to future business.
I'll do some work on the Finley appraisal. I'll keep working on that. So,
And then hopefully next meeting, Bob's got those numbers for us.
Okay,
what?
barring any further discussion, I guess we could have a meeting, a motion to adjourn.
That would be me.
Motion by Tranby to adjourn. Do we have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Second by Avery. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned, 3:28. Next meeting, September 7th, 2:30 in this room.